Welcome to the Coconut Chats. Man, my name is Indu Kejriwal, and here we are another episode of Common Threads. And today we have Pavitra Somaiya, who is a global communication and career coach, a corporate trainer, a mental health counsel, and an author. Welcome, Somaiya ji. How are you?
I am good. How are you? Thank you so
I'm
much.
good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Pavitra ji, I would to ask you, like, what kind of trainings do you offer to corporates?
Great question. As you already mentioned that I'm a corporate trainer. What kind of trainings do we offer to corporates? If I boil it down to a very simpler form, we have three verticals in our corporate trainings.
Okay.
Vertical number one is we talk a lot about mental health. So we just don't talk about mental health, but we also train on mental health. For example, if any company, any institution, they require some kind of training for stress management, or it could be work life harmony, or it could be just a very experiential training for them to understand their emotions, emotions from the perspective of their personality, or if any kind of conflicts happening in the organization. But we cater from a psychological point of view. So everything that we do in the corporate, in our trainings, are from a psychological point of view. So let's say, for example, if we are talking about conflict management, which is very very common at workplaces. Now when we talk about conflict, what is the psychological state from which the person is operating, because of which the conflict has happened? So we don't just talk about on a superficial level, okay, from where is the conflict coming, but we are also dive deep into the psychological mindset of the person, so as to understand how we can get to the root problem. And of course that requires a lot of effort, time, investment, and everything, but we operate everything from a psychological perspective. So that is the mental health vertical. The second vertical that we are into is the image and the soft skill vertical. So when I talk about image and soft skills, we have executive presence trainings for leaders, for managers, for first line managers, people who are just getting promoted in the workplace and they want to become a leader. So what is the kind of executive presence uh, they need to have in order to influence their team members and the other employees? So that is a part of our soft skill and image building vertical. And the last vertical that we have is the language vertical. So the language vertical talks about how you can improve your interpersonal interaction. But not only that, we also have the different foreign languages that we offer for your clientele. So let's assume that any company has its clientele based in France or Italy or Canada or wherever in other parts of the country, and they want their employees to learn that language because they can interact with their clientele based abroad. In that case, we train the employees in that particular language. It could be German, it could be French, it could be Spanish, it could be Italian. We train them in that language. And not only this, we try to bridge the gap of intercultural trainings, which means in the market, if you see, it's not only about the language that we learn, but also about the culture. For instance, in India, we are born and brought up in a certain culture, and our mindsets are shaped in that culture since beginning. But when we as Indians interact with Germans, for example, or where we interact with French or Spanish people, they might of course have a vast difference in terms of their culture and mindset. So that is where we also bridge the gap of intercultural mindset training, is what we would call it as, so that the employees who are interacting with clientele based abroad, they also know the culture from where they are coming and the mindset they have, and accordingly how they should present themselves and the language they use, etc., all of that. So all of that comes in our language and intercultural training programs. So these are the three verticals. And very recently, we have also started um, project trainings. So project management and process trainings also we have started.
Okay, that's great. According to you, are the corporates, and who requires this kind of trainings, and where have you given such kind of trainings?
Right. So many people have this misconception that the term corporate only means companies with employees having 100, 200 employees. But no, every institution is a corporate. Even a mid-sized company having 15, 20 employees is also a corporate. Even for that matter, a company having a 5 employee kind of a structure is also a corporate. Now here I'm not only talking about companies, but this also includes educational institutions. So a
Okay.
lot of our trainings are done, and we have done multiple trainings in schools, universities, educational institutions, and of course companies as corporates. So when we talk about corporates, is the meaning is above and beyond companies. It expands into institutions, educational sectors, and it could be agencies also. For example, we have travel agencies, we have multiple agencies running, so it could be that. So it expands everywhere. And the next question that you asked me is who requires these trainings. So these trainings are required everywhere, but it's just the need is very different. So let's say, for example, for the educational institution, since we are in the education sector, we might give training to the staff or the teachers there. And the training can be, let's say, for example, there, since these teachers are dealing with children, there the requirement would be, let's say, to understand the mindset of the children, how to manage their tantrums, how to also take care of the child safety, which comes under the POXO Act of India. So these might be the concerns and the needs and challenges which teachers might have in the educational sector. However, if we come to the workplaces, the corporates, there these things might not work. So there the challenges would be about workplace safety. So now it is no more about kid safety, but it's about workplace safety. And in workplace safety, of course, we have the POSH Act, which is applicable, and we also do trainings on that. And apart from that, like I said, about conflict management, team building, leadership, executive presence, these would be the requirements in corporates. So the requirement changes as per the sector, and also as per the need. What is the current need or the challenge that they are facing?
Okay, that's great. So, are you targeting only adults or you're targeting, you have something for kids as well? Because even kids go through this kind of problems nowadays. We can see at an early age, children start facing this kind of problems. So, do you have
Correct.
any programs or something for kids as well?
Certainly. We do have. So I run two ventures. The first venture is by the name of Panchama, where we include all of these three verticals, which I just spoke about for trainings for adults. And the second the second venture that I have is called Pebble Steps. Pebble Steps is only focused for children. It's only focused for kids, and we offer all of these trainings to kids. So whether it's confidence building, public speaking, of course foreign languages, um, you know cognitive training also, because kids need to have a developed cognitive ability in the early stages of their life. So let's say we talk about age 4 and 5. So many parents, they ask me, what is the age or the appropriate ideal age where we should focus on these things for our children? So I tell them the ideal age is as young as age 4 or 5. So in age 4 or 5, we can actually groom them from that particular age. We can help them to talk about their personality, to understand, become more aware about their emotions also, so that later if they go to school at the higher grades, they might not face this challenge or difficulty of conflict. Or they, because if you see many times children at, let's say, grade 8 or grade 9, they face this difficulty of not fitting into the peer groups somehow or the other, and there can be many social challenges which they might face, but they are not able to express, or they are not able to understand why is it so. That's because the training was not given to them in the early stages, or the early foundational years is what we would call it as. So hence all of these things actually start from age 4 5 onwards,
Okay.
and they go until until as long as the children and the parents want. But it should start as early as age 4 or 5. And here, like I said, we also not only talk about mental health for the children, but we also polish them for confidence, public speaking, language, cognitive training, and all of this is done through playful methods. So if the child is very small, like age 4 or 5, we will not really tell the child or instruct the child, okay, that you need to do this or do that, but rather it would be like a free play method where we would have certain bricks, Legos, and we will allow the child to play, but while playing we will teach them those values and those learnings that we want to teach them. So it is not a very instructive led kind of a session that we have with younger children specifically. We offer them a more playful method of learning. So this is what is also our uniqueness when we talk about training children under Pebble Steps.
Oh, that's great. So according to you, we should start at the age of 4 and 5.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, but then how do you come to know whether that child requires that kind of particular, that training or something? Because nowadays we see even parents are not that aware where they could put a child of 4 or 5 into such kind of trainings, isn't it? So,
I differ from this opinion. I think, in my opinion, nowadays in the 21st century, specifically after the COVID era, parents actually have become more aware. It's only the point where they are not able to find quality work being done or quality trainings. Because if you see around also in the market, people are doing these kind of teachings and trainings for their kids or for younger children, but either it is working in the traditional domain as per what we used to do, we used to learn back then 20-30 years back. So it is not evolving. I mean, the teaching methods and the trainings are somewhere what we are using in the traditional approach only. It's not evolved. And parents, specifically the mothers, if they are working mothers, working fathers, I mean, I have seen them struggling to find quality classes for their kids,
true.
because when they are working, they really don't have time, specifically from morning to evening, and they just want to uh, keep their kids busy in some kind of quality work and some kind of constructive learning, so that when they pick up their kids back in the evening from work, it actually saves their time, as in it's like hassle free. So I think it is very great, not only for working parents, but I think in general for all parents, even if they are not working or whatever is it. But I think parents have now become more aware, specifically, like I said, after the COVID, when the patterns of teaching had evolved, and it's still evolving, so that's a very good sign. But yeah, this is what exactly I think is the answer to your question.
Okay, that's great. Okay, now what challenges and gaps do you see in the market in today's time? And like, how has your brands and your trainings being able to cover those challenges and gaps?
Right. So good question. So as I said about Panchama as my first venture for trainings for adults, and here if you see, if you like I already mentioned to you about three verticals of trainings that we offer. If you see, this is like a holistic package. You would see people going for soft skill in a different place, in a different maybe institute. You will see people going for language trainings in a different institute. You will see people seeking counseling and guidance for mental health in a different venture altogether. We are offering everything in the same venture under the same brand. So it is like you have all the things set on your plate, and you just have to come and you have to eat it. So I think this is a very holistic package that we have created for our adult clients in the market, which I don't think, in my knowledge, in my best of knowledge, nobody is offering. What they are offering is, like I said, individual
Very
verticals, but not as a complete package. So this is the USP that we have for my first venture, Panchma. For Pebble Steps, I think I already mentioned the USP. That is, we have a very playful method through 6 bricks Legos. Not only this, but we also use scientific proven methods. For example, one of them is Orton Gillingham. Now, Orton Gillingham is a very scientific proven method of language development in the children, which not many people are aware about, and not many people use it also actually. because it is used first, like how we want to assess. So first, you might also have heard about phonics, for example, or phonics or jolly phonics, etc. They are used everywhere, but very few people, or I think hardly any of the parent, would be aware about OG or Orton Gillingham as the method. It is a very good method which involves the assessment of the child in terms of language. So we have a very formal assessment that we do for language for the children, and only after understanding the language milestone of that child as per the age group, then we come to the analysis that, okay, this is where the child is lacking. Let's say the child is lacking on reading comprehension. Let's say the child is lacking on writing. Let's say the child is lacking on vocabulary, or let's say the child understands the entire passage but is still not able to make sense out of it. So, or is there problem in recall? If the child is able to read, is able to understand, but is not able to recall, so what is exactly the gap that we figure out in the holistic assessment that we do? And once we figure that gap, that milestone delay, then we work upon it. And the work that we do is also using the OG method, Orton Gillingham. So
So
it is different from phonics. It is not exactly phonics, because phonics has different versions of it. It is usually based on the way we pronounce, but Orton Gillingham has everything together. So it is not only based on the way we pronounce the word, but also it's based on the reading comprehension, language fluency, and everything together.
okay.
So that is the difference between OG and phonics, which is also what we use in Pebble Steps.
Oh, wow, that's great. And at what age does this kind of, analysis and all is it's done?
It's right from pre-primary. Okay, so right from pre-primary to I mean, the child can actually be either in the pre-primary stage or the primary class grade, or it can be in grade 1, 2, 3. Actually, it can go on. The entire assessment, the entire way of working is made in such a manner that it can be done for younger kids also, plus it can be done for teens also. Let's say there's a child who is in grade 5 or 6, maybe around 10 or 11 years of age. Now that child is slowly entering into the teen segment now. So there also, if the child is facing any problem, we can still do it. So it's right from the younger age up till the teens. It can be done.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. It was wonderful knowing about you, Soumya. It was great. And
Thank you.
thank you so much for being here. And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for giving your time. It was great having you here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Indu. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.